Last week, if you were listening, we had Michael Roll from England. He, the founder of Campaign for Philosophical Freedom, making the case, the secular case for survival after death, presenting scientific evidence that there is life after death, that we survive the death of our physical bodies. And he claims that this has been proven through repeatable scientific experiments involving something called, or some people called, materialization mediums, where these etheric bodies are actually produced in the same room with the medium, these etheric bodies seen by a number of witnesses. And joining us on the line this evening, or this morning, is another such eyewitness to these repeatable experiments. Gwen Byrne lost her son, Russell, as a child. We'll discover a little bit about Russell in a moment. And Gwen claims that she has been reunited with her dead son on numerous occasions. And we welcome Gwen Byrne to Mojo Radio and the Richard Syrett Show. Good morning, Gwen.
Good morning, Richard. I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can.
Good.
Whereabouts in England are you, Gwen?
Whereabouts? Right by the back to the sea, down in Essex.
Essex, okay.
Not far from London, really, if you get on a train.
All right. Gwen, you have been to see a materialization medium on numerous occasions, and
hundreds of times.
Is it the same materialization medium?
Yes, they're very rare, Richard.
Okay.
Very, very rare.
You lost your son, Russell. When was that?
It was 1963.
And how old was Russell?
9 3/4.
What happened to your son?
Well, he had cancer. It came on in a week, and in a week it was gone. Well, gone, you know. I know he's not gone now, but he was then.
And when did you first go to a materialization medium?
Well, I didn't even know such a thing existed in the beginning, Richard. You know, can imagine it's sort of worst thing that can happen for a family, I think, losing a child. And I started to search, you know, through mediums. I'm sure you've got mediums in Canada.
We do, but prior to speaking with Michael Roll, I wasn't familiar with the materialization medium.
No, yeah,
body.
To be quite honest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I went to certain mediums all over the place, and it was about 5 years before I could really honestly say that yes, that's him, you know, nobody else could know those things. I went to various places in London and all over the place on the train then. I mean, in those days it was 60s, it's quite a different era to now, isn't it? We're in the technology area now, aren't we? But, you know, as time went on, my other boys grew up, and over the years, I knew Russell was around, you know, I was aware of him sometimes. But it was 19 years after his passing when the phone rang here in this house, midnight, and it was my husband Alfie that answered the phone, but unfortunately it wasn't unfortunate, it was meant to be, I realise that now. I was away doing some of my work, and the phone rang, and it was a newspaper reporter from the Psychic News over here, and he said, you better sit down, Mr. Byrne. So he sat down, and he said, well, we've got a physical circle here, and your son has come through and given us your phone number.
A physical circle? What do you mean by a physical?
There's a medium that goes into trance. You must have heard of all the trance and all that, you know what I mean?
Where the medium is virtually unconscious.
Yeah, unconscious.
And there are a number of people sitting around in a circle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we heard about, you know, so I had to wait a week before we got there because I was stuck somewhere at work.
So a reporter with psychic research was involved in a medium circle and saw your son's etheric body?
Yeah. But that was the early days of the circle, Richard, when they spoke, they used to use a trumpet, you know, a bit the way we use a microphone in this world.
Yes.
To make the sound better. Well, then, in that early part of the circle, they used a trumpet that used to whiz around the room. I mean, I've never been to one in all those 19 years.
And so this reporter told your husband on the phone that we've seen your dead son has come through during this physical circle, and he gave us your phone number.
Yeah.
How did your husband respond to that?
Well, he fell off the kitchen chair, more or less, I think, the shock.
How did you respond?
Well, I was away. At the time, I was down in a place called Stansted Hall, which is a rather large mansion, which was left for psychic research. And I was down there doing some musical work. So I couldn't just say, oh, we'll go. He phoned me on the Sunday morning, and he said, you better sit down. And I thought, oh, dear, what has happened? And he said to me, well, I had a phone call last night, and Russell's come through the circle. I said, oh, crumbs, it seems a bit crazy, but it's true. Anyway, I had to hang on for a week because I was working. And we went, actually, the day when he came through on that circle was the 14th of August, which was the 19th anniversary of his passing.
1982.
1982, yeah. So that would have been 19 years, roughly.
And did the reporter... did he describe what your son looked like to your husband over the phone?
No, not then. I think in the early days, they had the trumpet phenomena, as they call it.
Oh, there was no etheric body, just a voice.
No,
this carnage
in the
voice.
early days, they had to learn that. It got better as you went along.
Okay, so when did you actually see that?
On Saturday with Alfie, we drove up there. It was quite a journey. And I think by then we were numb, the pair of us, with the whole thing. So as was the blue and unexpected, I never expected anything like this, that's for sure. And off we went. And we got to the house and were, introduced to the people, the medium and some other nice people that were all very friendly and nice. And, we sat down into the seance room, and this trumpet, after a while, whizzed over to me. And there was I didn't see him that first time. I must be perfectly honest with this.
You're sitting in it's complete darkness, correct?
Yes, that's right. The trumpet whizzed over to me and his daddy. And he didn't actually say hello. He started to sing first, because he always loved to sing when he was on Earth. And he began to sing that song from Oliver, Where Is Love?
Yes.
Where the little boy's looking for his mummy.
Yes.
Well, that's quite apt, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And it was definitely your son.
Oh, yeah.
How did you respond? That must have been incredibly emotional.
Well, anyway, I think I was a bit shut down, Richard. I'd had a week to think about it, and I'd done a lot of crying and weeping and gnashing, the way women do. And anyway, by the time I got there, we were quite shocked, We just sat there, and I just said, hello, my darling. Hello, Russell. Hello, Mum, he said. Hello, Dad. Just like that, as if he'd never been away.
And...
Well, it just blows you away, Richard.
I guess.
It just blew us away. And it still does even now, after these years. I mean, 1982, here we are. We're in 2004 now, aren't we?
Tell me about the first time that his etheric body appeared before you.
Well, that came a little while later. I stayed up there quite a lot with the lady, because my husband had to go to work, obviously. I stayed up with the medium, we became friends, and I took part in many of the seances. We had one nearly every evening. And very often when I say they, the outer circle, I think Mike might have told you that they were like Helen Duncan, who was famous 50s physical medium,
yeah.
1950s, and Raymond Lodge and people like that. That's Oliver Lodge's son. He materialised full in his army uniform. He was killed in the First World War. And Russell just, now and again, they used to flash the energy around the room. The only way I can call it energy is because I don't understand physics. So you'll have to excuse me that. It's Dutch to me. But, and there he was, there I saw him in all his glory with his hair sticking up. He was a little boy again, of course they can do that.
And was he, sometimes when I've seen these pictures of these etheric bodies, and it's almost like they're draped in some sort of gossamer material.
No, well that was ectoplasm, but you see now they don't use ectoplasm, they use this kind of energy.
When you say they, you mean the other side?
Yeah, the other side, they use this kind of energy, which is just like flashes around the room, like a bit like lightning. It's the only way I can describe it.
So there, in other words, when you say they, the people in the etheric world are perfecting the method of transporting these etheric bodies to our plane of existence.
You got it.
It's getting easier and it's getting more sophisticated.
Yes, it is.
Well, we'll take a time out here, Gwen, and when we come back, stay with us, and we'll discuss further, in further detail, your being reunited with your dearly departed son, Russell. The Richard Syrett Show, Mojo Radio, back with more in a moment. This is from Essex, England, this morning. She claims to have been physically reunited with her dead son, Russell, during scores of repeatable experiments beginning in 1982. Set the scene for us, Gwen. When you're sitting in a physical circle, where is the materialization medium in reference to the etheric body that appears and to the rest of the participants?
Well, she's in unconscious almost, I don't know how. It must have been a very deep trance because she never knew anything that was going on. So we were just sitting there in armchairs or maybe on the sofa. With other people there as well, obviously. And
the medium is in the same room? Is she behind a curtain? Is she in a cupboard?
No. Just in an armchair. And at one point, one of the communicators, Raymond Lodge, when they were going to bring her out of trance, he just lifted her out of the armchair. It was amazing.
But if it's completely dark, how do you see the?
Well, because of the energy, the light from the energy. That's the only way I can explain it. When they said they were going to use the energy, it flashed around the room, and that's how we saw. And then, of course, you've got to remember that lots of things like, the musical instruments that we use, the physical musical instruments that were used by certain people from the spirit, were painted with luminous paint, so therefore you could see those, and that created light of a kind. But there's no doubt about it that it's 100% accurate.
And your son, Russell, when his etheric body entered into the room, 19 years or more after his death, yet he appeared as the 9-year-old son or an older version?
Exactly the same as he was on Earth. But of course I was aware that he'd grown up in spirit. I'd learned that along the way. They don't just stay as children. They grow up into the man that they would be if they'd lived on Earth, except they're in a spiritual body, a bit like you need a spacesuit. They don't just go to the moon.
So he could choose to appear to you as a 9-year-old or as a 28-year-old?
He said, I'm like Peter Pan. I'm going to be a little boy for quite a while, he said. But eventually he did come as a man. Towards 89, he came as a man. I didn't see him then, but I did see him later myself in an incident.
Are you able to touch him?
Well, he's able to touch us because, you see, there is a danger to the life of the medium if you go, anybody. They'd often known that we were quite sensible because if I'd have tried to reach out and grab him and hug him, I could have killed the medium.
How so?
Well, because the medium's doing all this work while she's unconscious. Literally, if you're going to grab hold of a child and try to hug him, but he could come with damage the medium. Really, I don't understand that part because I'm not into that.
Well, is the etheric body emanating from the medium? Like, is it attached in some way?
No, I don't think
so.
It's just there.
But somehow, I guess, if you're interfering with that energy, it would be like ripping something from the medium, doing some sort of internal damage.
I believe that's what happened to Helen Duncan in the 50s. A policeman, police raided the house. It's a long story, Richard, but...
they flashed lights at her while she was in the midst of this etheric transference.
Yeah, and she eventually died from the whole thing. And
that's why they must do this and perform in the dark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they have to. It's a bit like a camera. You can't take a picture in broad daylight, can you? You've got to have, you can't take it, you know what I mean? You can't develop it. It's got to be in the dark room.
Right.
But there was many times when we saw the medium use nothing at all, no darkness. We actually sat one evening, just me and Alfie, and the medium, obviously, and her husband, and her son and daughter-in-law were there, but we sat one evening and there was a lamppost outside, the lamppost is a street light, and she was just in trance and she did what's called transfiguration. And she just transformed into all these people.
She transformed into
Yeah,
people.
you could actually see when she became Russell, she'd put her knees up under her, like you stick your knees under you, and she did all that, and she became that little boy, this fierce figure over her. And then she became other people, one after another. It was truly, and there was the light from the lamppost outside shining through the window.
Gwen Byrne is my guest on the line from Essex, England this morning, talking about being reunited with her dead son Russell during scores of repeatable experiments with a materialization medium. When your son's etheric body touched you, how did that feel?
Oh, wonderful.
Was he in the flesh?
Yeah, his hands felt just as though you were holding a human hand, except the skin is softer and much, delicate. I can only say delicate because they were delicate. And there was also, you've got to remember too, there was also a beautiful lady that used to come through and sing to us. And she was the medium's grandmother. She's been quite famous in her day, in the 1880s. And she used to come through and sing to us. And we could see a beautiful lace gown when she sang. And she stood in front of us. My husband and my eldest son both danced with her.
And your son, Russell, were you able to detect a pulse? When we say scientific experiments, for example, was there a medical doctor there or anyone there to verify that Russell was there besides yourself?
Well, I think that lots and lots of investigators went along with it, but we were just as parents. I mean, I never thought of looking for a pulse, to be quite honest. I just knew I was talking to my son.
How long did he stay in that room with you?
Oh, the whole evening. Some of these seances went on from about 8:30 till midnight, sometimes 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning.
What was your first question to him?
Well, being just blown away. I just sat there and obviously had a few tears when he sang to me. And then he began to clown about because he was a clown when he was on Earth, and he still is. And of course, at the time we wondered, and I know Mike wondered why they've got this crazy child running around, making everybody laugh. But that was to release the tension that you can imagine there was great tension.
But you must have had countless questions about what had happened to him since his death, what life was like on the other side.
Yes, he told me that he'd grown up and that he was now involved in rescue work. He told us that he'd been in many of these big disaster scenes. I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Aberran disaster in this country in the 60s, when a whole school fell down.
Oh, yes.
Valley. Well, he told us he was there, and he mentioned the names of the children, and he'd rescue them, bring them out of the rubble into their etheric bodies or the spirit bodies. And
so he was reclaiming spirit bodies.
Yeah. Well, bringing their spirit bodies from out of the rubble, the mud and that. And he told us that he was there.
But what is it like on the other side? Where is it that we go to? What is this other plane of existence like?
Well, it's just out of our sight, really, Richard. It's so... I mean, we're actually sitting in it if we just know it, but we can't see it. It's pretty far. It's just around us, like a bit like goldfish in a bowl,
Right.
It's around us.
Well,
sometimes we're aware, if we're lucky enough to be aware. I hope I am.
Well,
it's around me now, actually. There's knocking and banging going on in this kitchen.
Yeah. I guess, theoretical physicists talk about at least 11 other dimensions.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I guess it's one of those, is it?
Mm.
Do we need a physical body there?
Okay.
Do we need our physical bodies there?
No, that's a little coat that you bury when you go. There you go, they bury the coat, don't they? And you can't go to space without a spacesuit.
True enough.
It's really quite simple. I don't know why. We complicate it, but then of course scientists have to, don't they? I mean, my eldest son is a doctor of physics, and he went, and it just blew his mind completely.
Your son is a doctor of physics, and he's witnessed this.
Yes, yes.
How comfortable is he discussing this with his
colleagues?
colleagues?
He discusses it everywhere he goes. He travels the world with his work. Japan, he's been to Russia, every country the name he's been to. And he always talks about it.
Does he teach at a school in England?
No, he's a lecturer. He's in all research now, but I mean, he does talk about it everywhere he goes. When they chat about you believe in the afterlife, and he says, well, of course I do, I know. I've seen it, you know.
And can he explain this phenomenon in scientific terms? Does it
well,
make
he
sense?
can probably explain it better than I can. I'm just numb, you know, and I don't understand physics, obviously. A lot of things I do understand, but not physics.
But for him, as a physicist, as a scientist,
yeah.
as far as he's concerned, this falls within the realm of science. In other words, there may be a scientific formula for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is not supernatural or paranormal.
No, I call it supernormal. I think it's just so normal that we make a great mystery out of it. I think it's us that make the mystery.
Does he talk about this in terms of subatomic physics?
Well, yes, he does, yeah. You know, I always say, oh, who cares, you know. Don't talk to me about physics, it's all Dutch to me.
All right. We'll take a time out here, Gwen. And
Okay, I'm still here.
Yes, and are you good to take some calls as well?
Yes.
Good. Okay, I'll invite callers at Essex, England. Has been reunited with her dead son, Russell, on numerous occasions during repeatable experiments. Gwen, how would you respond to those who might suggest to you that while you are having a genuine experience, what is actually occurring is you are being deceived by Lucifer, Satan, what have you, and that what in fact you are seeing is not your son, Russell, but some other entity, perhaps a nefarious one, to say the least.
Are you asking me that?
Yes, I'm asking you, how do you know you're not being deceived by
How can
Satan?
your mother be deceived, Richard? A mother knows their own child. There's only one Russell like that, anyway. There's only one of him. And no way, if there was someone deceiving him, well, then they were very wonderful people. That's all I can say. Humorous and full of fun and wonderful. Fundament, you know. How can it be bad? How can it be evil?
Well,
I know it's been suggested to me before, but I won't buy into that because I know it was him. And not only me, the family members that went and everybody else that ever went. I mean, there must have been hundreds of people that went to those seances.
Well,
I know that that is one of the biggies because I had a Roman Catholic brother-in-law that in the beginning tried to say the same thing to me, but he's changed his mind now. He knows.
He knows. And has he seen Russell?
Well, no, he left the church. He was a monk in a Cistercian order. And he never went to them, of course, he wouldn't have that. But he eventually left and married. He knew that I'd found the truth, and he just said, okay, you know, I'm off.
He left the order because of your experience with Russell?
Well, not so much that. I think he said to me in the early days after, well, you found something, he said, and it's something that I can't explain, but I know by just looking at you and his brother, Mark Alfie, and the family, that you found something wonderful. And that was before the materialisation thing. This was in the early days. But I found the truth. And he knew it.
As Russell, your dead son, although you probably don't think of him that way.
We're more dead than they are, Richard. I think we're the ones that are dead.
What does he say the other side looks like? Much as it does here?
Well, as much as it does here, but they don't have any sun or moon. They don't have any night or day. We make the time, don't we? We use clocks and we use the sun and the moon. But over there, it isn't. It's just all the time light, if you like.
All the time light?
Well, it's like daylight, I suppose you could call it. But my eldest son was the one that talked about things like that on those kind of things more than I did. But he took that cocktail actually because he got a young baby and he was worried. But they said, I think it was Helen Duncan that said to my eldest son, we have no jurisdiction over those cot deaths above us. Meaning God, I guess.
And did he give you any sense of what, I mean, was he a spiritually advanced being?
Yeah.
And did he have any sense of why we're here and then why we go there?
Yeah, well, when our earthly life ends, we go there. And when it's our time, it's our time. But you see, I have to say this. When Russell was born, I was on my own. And I knew as soon as he came into this world that I was going to lose him. Instantly I knew.
How did you know?
I had to carry that about with me for 10 years.
How did you know?
Oh, I just knew. And then woman's instinct, would you call it? Intuition. I just knew he wasn't going to stay long. And I didn't even know the word medium, psychic, or anything. I hadn't been brought up with any kind of religion at all. I just had to carry that around with me, and I had 2 more boys. And I just knew that Russell was just different and kind of special, if you know what I mean. Not that he was any more special to me as a mother than my other sons, but there was something about him that was very... He's like kind of an old soul, you know. I call him an old soul. He seemed to know things, and he's different. And lots of people used to say, oh, gosh, your boy, you know, he's grown up for his age. And he was an old, I call him an old soul. That's the only expression I can use.
Was he reunited with other family members that had predeceased him when he was the other side?
My father and mother had passed only just before him. The 3 went in about 5 months. And they were only in their 50s, both of them.
Did they all live together over there? Did they, in other words, did they continue to exist as a family unit?
Just with Nan and Granddad, yeah. And that he was very happy. And he was always watching over us, and we've always known that anyway. But he just grew up into be a fine young man, the same as his brothers have on earth. All both know that he's around. And of course, just to cap it all, the third grandson that was born to us, his younger brother, was named after Russell, and he was born right on his birthday. Almost to the minute. So now how can any human arrange that?
Mm.
He was born in the ward that my Russell passed in, young Russell, he's 20 now. And he joined the army. But, I mean, he was born exactly on the same day and almost to the minute. 30 years later. So now can you explain that? How can we arrange that?
I cannot explain that.
No, I can't either. Well, you know, you've got to know when the conception takes place, and that's around Christmas. The same as my Russell was conceived around Christmas, to be born in September. You've got to be, haven't you?
There are a number of planes of existence. Do certain people go to one plane and certain others go to another?
Yeah, I think it depends on your knowledge and what kind of person you are. I'm not saying that I believe there's a hell, because I think sometimes, Richard, this is the hell. You've got to look around the world now to see that.
Right.
I'm not saying that there isn't a place where perhaps murderers and people like that do have to go to and answer for what they did, but I don't know about this hell, and I feel that I've been there when Russell passed. I mean, to lose a child is the worst thing that can happen to anybody. Believe me, I don't know if you've got any children or not.
Not as yet.
No, not as yet, but they are so precious. And when one's just taken, all of a sudden, it's like the end of the world. But you have to carry on because you've got children and a family to bring up. You can't just run away and pretend it hasn't happened.
You mentioned that you had the sense immediately that your son, while he was here on Earth, was an old soul,
yes.
Which tends to suggest that we are reincarnated.
Well, actually, personally, I do believe in reincarnation. I know it's a very, very deep subject, and we have touched on it at times.
Well, what does Russell say about it?
Oh, yeah, it's true. But then he said, Mother, I can't prove it.
So, but Russell remains on the other side.
Yes, he's there. I said, well, don't you come back, when anybody else, he said. I said, because I want to see you. Oh, don't worry, Mother, he said, I'm not planning to come back. I'll be here for you and Dad and everybody when you come over.
But is it possible, did he give you a sense that that where he is now, that he will maybe graduate from there and move on to another?
Well, he has graduated, from what I can gather. I mean, don't forget, it ended in 1989, he found the medium had just had enough. And Mike might have told you this, I don't know, but he'd had enough, her health was beginning to suffer, and so it ended. But that's when he spoke to me as a child and said, as a man, sorry, and told me that he would always be around us and always be with us.
So you have not seen Russell since 1989? I
have, yes, personally. I had a very personal experience with I had a Dutch lady staying with me, and I believe she's been on Dutch TV with Mike. And he actually materialised in the middle of the road, in the middle of a motorway here, when I was involved in when my car stopped one day. I was with this Dutch lady, and the car just stopped. You know the way cars do. And from out of nowhere appeared this tall, dark, handsome young man and helped us. And when I turned around to say thank you, he was gone. And I realised that it was because he looked like his brother. And I knew it was him. And Rose, that was with me, the Dutch lady, she knew too. She'd lost her son, and she knew that was Russell.
These people on the other side in the etheric world that are, I guess, operating the switch on that side that allows for these etheric bodies to come through on this side.
Yeah.
Who are these people? Are they scientists from a planet?
Yeah, I would think that they're people like the Oliver Lodges and all those scientists that, you know, we read about and hear about. The Lodge family and Barrett and all the names which I'm sure Mike has mentioned to you. That's his department, you know.
Yeah.
I've heard of them and read about them, obviously. I do as much reading as I can. But I'm still, you know, there again, I'm just a mum.
But, I mean, there seems to be an increase, at least anecdotally, an increase in sightings of ghosts, etc. To me, does this suggest that maybe the reason for that is it's getting easier for these etheric bodies to appear to us?
Yeah. Yes, that's true. I believe that. He said to me one day, I'm not a ghost, Mother, I'm Russell. I said, yeah, I know, dear, but I said, you know, when people see people build up in their kitchen or something like that, they obviously think ghost. He said, that's an awful word. I said, yes, I know. But that's people, you know, they just use the word ghost for the want of a better word.
Is it possible that these etheric bodies will soon be able to appear to us without the need of a materialization?
Oh, it will come. With the way the world is going now, with technology and everything, I mean, one hears of them coming through using computers. And, I mean, I even had phone calls from Russell.
You've had phone calls from your dead?
Yeah, during the time of the founding, I had a phone call the night young Russell was born, just before I was going to the hospital to see the new boy. And, you know, it's him. I said, how do you do this? He said, well, we have to wait for the medium to be asleep. And when she's asleep or falls asleep in the chair, we can use our energy and pick up the phone. Now, that's what he told me, and I have no reason to disbelieve it, because it was him on the phone, because what he said to me was perfectly true.
Wouldn't that be great if you could call him?
Oh, wouldn't it just? I mean, I know that there are people trying to work on these things. Now, I mean, eventually, probably not in my lifetime, but when there will be time, you know, when you can switch on the television and tune into the spirit world.
Well, it's interesting, two things. Number one, Thomas Edison was rumored to have been working on just such a device at the time of his death.
Yes, and I'm sure people are working on them now.
And secondly, Dr. William Crookes, who was an early pioneer in this field, was the inventor of the cathode ray tube.
That's right, yes.
So there is a connection between television and the spirit.
Oh, definitely. And they'll use any method they can to get through to you. Any method.
Gwen, we'll take one final time out and come back and finish this most fascinating discussion. Stay with us. The frustrating thing to me is that these materialization mediums that are producing these etheric bodies, in your case, your son, your dead son, Russell, who died in 1963, that they are not willing to allow for the kind of scrutiny that would prove to people like myself that this is happening. I'm talking about photographic or videotape evidence.
Yeah, this is a big problem, Richard. I guess, well, you know, if I was one, would I want anybody to come taking pictures of me, and is it going to be dangerous? And all that sort of thing. You know, I can't understand, really. I can't really answer that for you. I'd need to be a physical medium to answer that.
Well, I mean, there are photographs of William Crookes in the late 19th century.
Taken with ordinary cameras, weren't they? You know, these cameras of the day.
Yes.
And I don't know. I think today, with all the technology, I don't think. Well, I don't know. I can't really answer that question. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I like to be honest if I can. I don't know the reason why they won't allow cameras in.
Did you?
Mike could tell you that.
Did you suggest? Did you want to take pictures of Russell when you saw him?
No, I
had no desire.
No, I knew. Well, I might have had a desire, but I knew that it wasn't the thing to do to suddenly flash pictures. A camera could damage the medium. I don't know.
What about, for example, Minnie Harrison, one of the more famous materialization mediums?
Yes, Tom Harrison's mother.
Yes, and Tom Harrison is going to join this program in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. He would answer that for you.
Yeah, he has.
I believe he did take photographs.
Well, I know
I'm
he
not
has.
Sure,
I know he has voice recordings.
Yeah, I've got voice recordings too.
You do have voice recordings of Russell?
I've got Russell and I singing together.
You do?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've got him and I singing Ave Maria. His Latin is better than mine.
You don't happen to have that?
I haven't got it with me, no, not here.
Well,
so I didn't know that you would be asking that.
Well, we must do this again, and you've got to you've got to play that for us if you will.
Well, I played it at the university once, and the whole place collapsed in tears. Well, you know, we went along to do a talk to the students, and Mike was with us, and I put it on, and everybody cried. But I'm a trained singer. This is my work. And obviously, it's a trained singer too. But he was putting on his little boy voice there. But I mean, I have him singing with me. I have him on numerous tapes, chatting away like a 9-year-old would.
Well, Gwen, when we do this again, if you'll agree to do this again.
Oh, yes.
We'll have you bring those tapes along.
Yeah, I have them ready, and you can tell me what you want. You can hear him say, "Ready, Mum?" Yeah, and I said, "Yeah." And someone held the cassette. You had a little cassette then under our noses, if you like. And there's the two of us sort of duetting, this little boy and his mum. And I've also got the other lady, the beautiful lady that came through. She's been an opera singer, and that's what I am. And we sing together. And we've got the pair of us both singing Memories from Cats.
Well,
I took the low one, and she took the high one.
3-part harmony from the other side.
I did it in public once in a seance in Stansted Hall in the office in the college, and everybody was totally blown away.
Well,
there's two voices, one from the spirit world and me.
Well, I look forward with great anticipation to hearing that recording.
Well, it's here, and you can hear it anytime you want.
I just thought of something. You know, people talked about, lament about the fact that there'll never be a Beatle reunion now that George and John are gone.
Well,
perhaps through a materialization medium and the benefit of a tape recorder, we could have, in fact, have a new Beatles album.
Whoa, there you go.
Or... Well, Gwen, it's a delight speaking with you, and I want to thank you for getting up so early over there in Essex, England.
It's to talk to you, Richard.
And you as well. Please come back again with your recordings of your dead son, Russell.
Yes, it only takes a few minutes to listen to, obviously, but you can hear them. I don't mind. He gave them to me, and he knew what he was doing when he gave them to me.
I'll tell you what, when we bring Tom Harrison on the show in a couple of weeks, maybe I'll have you back on at the same time.
I'm quite willing to do that.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Gwen.
And thank you, Richard, for asking me. It's a great privilege.
Good morning. And say hello to Russell for us.
Oh, well, he's looking at me, a big photo of him. Hi, Russ. He knows what I'm doing.
All right.
You know, they're not dead.
Have him say hello.
Any parents that have lost a child
haven't
lost them.
Well, ask Russell to say hello to my dad, Lloyd.
Of course he will. What's his name?
Lloyd.
Lloyd. Oh, but old Lloyd, he's around too, you know. Don't think of him as gone. He's not gone.
All right, Gwen. Unfortunately, we are. It's that time. Thank you.
I'm going back to bed.
All right. Until next week. Don't be afraid of them. There is nothing concealed that won't be revealed, and nothing hidden that won't be made known. What I tell you in the dark speaks in the light, what you hear in whisper. Proclaim from the housetops. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Gwen. Thank you, HRS. Move over, Aphrodite. I'm coming home. Good night.